Egg salad. I'm gonna stay with the brushes.
Yeah, I like that.
Man, in this room, rods and brushes. I mean, somebody always complains whenever we get loud. Pretty much almost everything I can do rods and brushes. Yeah, it's cool.
service. Close out with that. We're gonna go on that morning, and then we'll probably do stepping out at the end of the service.
Okay.
know that all is well and unfolding as it should. I can change my reality by changing my mind. Perfect peace, joy, and happiness is yours and it's mine. I am love and so are you. And don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should? Let me hear you say, all is well, all is well. Divine Spirit is directing me right now. All is well, all is well, all is well, and unfolding as it should. I am cloaked in the Spirit, I am led by the divine. I am one that all that is, my soul is free from time. I am blessed and so are you. And don't it feel good to know that all is well? Don't it feel good? All is well. Just to know that all is well. We're free from time. All is well. I gotta change my mind. I'm free, y'all. Don't it feel good? All is well and unfolding as it should.
Billy, all is well. You want to stand up and sing? Sure. Say yes. Yes, Fred, I want to.
I know you are the light of God. You are the joy, you are the love, you are me. I know you are the light of God. You are the joy, you are the love, you are me. You know me, I am the light of God. I am the joy, I am the love, I am you. You know me, I am the light of God. I am the joy, I am the love, I am you. We know this, we are the light of God. We are the joy, we are the love, we are one. We know this, we are the light of God. We are the joy, we are the love, we are one.
Let's keep going. Here's a new one for you. You'll catch on. Millie knows how it goes. She'll teach me, and I'll teach you, right?
Where I sit is holy, holy is the ground. Forest, mountain, river, listen to the sound. Great Spirit circles all around me. Who I am is holy, holy are we. Body, thought, emotion, connecting you and me. Great Spirit circles all around me. What I do is holy, holy is the way. Work and play together, so celebrate the day. Great Spirit circles all around me. Where I sit is holy, holy is the ground. Forest, mountain, river, listen to the sound. Great Spirit circles all around me. Who I am is holy, holy are we. Body, thought, emotion, connecting you and me. Great Spirit circles all around me. What I do is holy, holy is my way. Work and play together, celebrate the day. Great Spirit circles all around me. Great Spirit circles all around me.
You done it.
Good morning, good morning. Okay, let's try it again. Good morning. There you are. There you are. So good to see all of you this morning. Welcome to Unity Church of Overland Park. Those of you that are with us here in the room, those of you that are joining us online right now or in days yet to come. I'm Reverend Eileen Stulak. I'm the Associate Minister of Operations here at the ministry. Our Senior Minister, Reverend Jackie Fernandez, and her daughters are out in California with Jackie's mom and their extended family. They're having a wonderful time together celebrating not only Mother's Day, but also some very special celebrations within their family unit as well. And so we send all of our love and our prayers out to them for a joyous time together and safe returns early into this coming week. And in Jackie's absence, I am here with Laura Carl. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Laura Carl. I am 2 SEE courses away from applying to ministerial school. Happy to be with you all.
It's great to have you, Laura, and it's always a pleasure to be able to support those from our own community, as well as, in New Zealand, we've got an intern working with us halfway across the world as they're making their way into seminary, and our intern, she's getting ready to actually complete her time and move closer towards ordination. So thank you for being here. All right, so we want to start, as we always do, with an opening prayer, and I came upon a prayer online. It did not have any citation as to who wrote it, but it's a prayer for Mother's Day. And so as we wish everyone a happy Mother's Day today, we center in and we offer some words of prayer as well. And so as we acknowledge Spirit's presence within us and everywhere around us, we also acknowledge that mothers are defined far beyond those that are biological mothers, for there are also foster moms, guardian moms, adoptive moms, any and all individuals who identify with that mother energy, providing wisdom and guidance, loving care and support to a child. And so on this Mother's Day, sweet Spirit, we offer this prayer in gratitude for the gift of mothers, our own mothers, those of our friends, relatives, those we'll never know, all mothers. We're grateful for the role they play in the family unit, and we affirm our appreciation for their teachings, their wisdom, their patience and understanding. We recognize and honor the physical, emotional, and spiritual gifts they possess and share. On this Mother's Day, we pray that your presence moves through all mothers all across the world, that they be a continual blessing upon their children, that every word and action be done in love within their homes, as well as in their extended families and communities. We also pause in this moment today to offer a prayer of comfort to anyone who had a mother and lost her, and those who perhaps never had someone to call mother. May they feel your ever-present love in their lives today. And for that love and for our mothers, we are grateful. And we're also grateful that all of that wisdom and guidance and love and more is brought forth not only through those who are moms, but also through each and every one of us as we move through whatever it is that is ours to be and to do in this life. And it's because there is only one power guiding all of us. And so would you join with me now in affirming this statement of spiritual truth together? There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good.
And we also give thanks for the great Mother Earth and everyone who is on it. And we see healing, and we see peace. And we know that that healing and peace must start first with ourselves. So we take a moment to feel that, feel the love for all we have around us. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Eileen and Laura. Let's all sing. I am alive.
I am alive. I am alive. I am alive in this world. I am alive. I am alive. I am alive in this world. And I shine. And I shine. And I shine so bright. And I shine. And I shine. And I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright.
Yes, we do. Here come a couple of lights.
Yes, here we are. Thank you, Reverend Fred and Millie and Rick Backus, James Albright, Andy Hamilton, and Amanda, and Reverend Eileen Stulak and Laura Carl. Reverend Eileen's lesson today is Pilgrimage, the Journey Home. And also, we have a few announcements. First, our Yarn Blessings group will have their social meeting tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Bring whatever craft you're working on and visit with others right outside the sanctuary in the cafe. There.
Well, Tony, it says here that Tiffany is supposed to be up here with me. You don't look anything like Tiffany.
Well, it's Mother's Day, so Tiffany needs a break. She's been working hard. And all mothers.
Okay. Well, this coming Saturday, May 20th, is our date with Hamburger Mary's and their bingo fundraiser. You know, we really had a lot of fun the last time we were there, so I encourage everybody to make that happen if you can. These funds support our mission to create an affirming and safe spiritual community for all. Bingo and the 50-50 raffle will take place from 4 to 6 p.m., doors open at 3:15. There are various seating times, so be sure and make a reservation online as it typically sells out. The venue asks that cash be the method of payment for bingo and raffle. There's an ATM on site in case you don't have cash. And lastly, just a reminder that it's a bit salty and sassy, but we have a lot of fun.
Okay, and on Saturday, May 27th, our Folks with Faith group will have its monthly meeting on the grounds of Unity Village. Everyone is invited to gather in the Fillmore Cafe, where the doors will open at 10 a.m. The meeting will begin at 10:30, and then the group will move outside to the brand new Labyrinth to learn some of its creation story and then enjoy a walk through if you wish. Invite your friends and family. This is a great opportunity for ally parents and guardians to connect.
And registration is now open for the Celebrate Your Divine Identity Retreat at Unity Village. This is an LGBTQ Pride retreat that is being hosted by our Folks with Faith group and is open to all identities. The event is taking place June 29 to July 1st and will include inspiring music, interactive keynotes, wisdom workshops, sacred ceremony, transformational art and meditation experiences, and of course, a drag show. Early registration with a discounted rate ends tomorrow, so you want to sign up pretty quick. But registrations will be open for a few more weeks, and a link is available on our website and in the weekly e-news. There are a few scholarships available, so if you're interested in more information about that, please contact Reverend Jackie. Now I would like to invite Reverend Eileen forward for a special announcement.
Yes, if you've been with us for the last month or so, you have seen something really wonderful happening, and that is the growth that's occurring in our youth and family ministry program. And with growth comes the opportunity for additional support, and that is what we are currently enrolling for. Josie Lanati, who is our YFM teacher right now, she has the abundance of children in the room on just about every Sunday now, and it's just a bit much for one person to manage on her own. And so we are asking you to consider joining a new team that we want to create for our YFM ministry. And that team we envision being 8 or more people, with the idea that if we rotate in the YFM room on Sundays, and we have at least 8 people willing to do that, you're serving once every 2 months. We realize that with one service, we don't want to miss the service. We also don't want to not support our children. And so if we have a larger group pulled together, I think that we can make this happen very easily for everyone and everyone be supported. And so if you're interested, there is an online form, there's a link to it in our e-news that just went out, and it's also going to be on the website. Just fill that out, and that will make its way to me, or just see me after the service today and let me know. And what I'm going to do is send all of that information to Josie so that she can reach out to you personally, sit down with you, or just have a conversation over the phone to explain to you what the role entails, what happens in the YFM classes each week, so that you can discern together whether it's something that you feel would be a good fit for you. And so we thank you in advance for that. Our children, I know, appreciate all the love and support they get. And so again, see me after the service or just connect with us online. Thank you for that.
Okay. Now, let's speak the joint vision statement of the Unity Movement. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Thank you, Tiffany.
I didn't get my word today.
Home. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes the tall trees bend into leaning, suddenly the snowflakes that fall have a meaning, sprinkling the scene makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back there now that I have some direction. It would be so nice to be back home where there's love and affection. And just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time, be my friend. Let me start again. Suddenly my world has changed its face, but still I know where I'm going. I have had my mind spun around in space, and yet I've watched it growing. Oh, listening God, please don't make it hard if we should believe the things we see. Tell us, should we run away? Should we try and stay? Or would it just be better to let things be? Oh, living here in this brand new world might be a fantasy, but it taught me to love. So it's real, real to me. And I've learned that we must look inside our hearts to find a world full of love like yours and like mine, like
Millie, UCUP band. Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. I gotta come a little bit closer to y'all. There we go. So, Albert Schweitzer, he was once described as a polymath. And translated, that means having learned much. An individual whose knowledge spans a significant number of studies, known to draw upon complex bodies of knowledge to solve specific problems. Now, Schweitzer, he certainly earned this description because he was a theologian, he was a musician, he was a music scholar, he was a philosopher, he was a writer, a humanitarian, he was a physician. And I came upon a passage of his writing that I wanted to share with you this morning. And it said, what happens is that we realize that we are but a speck of dust, a plaything of the events outside our reach. Nevertheless, we may at the same time discover that we have a certain liberty as long as we live. There is within each of us a modulation, an inner exaltation that lifts us above the dependence upon the gifts of events for our joy. Hence, our dependence upon events is not absolute, it is qualified by our spiritual freedom. Therefore, when we speak of resignation, it is not sadness to which we refer, but the triumph of our will to live over whatever happens to us. And to become ourselves, to be spiritually alive, we must have passed beyond this point of resignation. It is this spiritual aliveness, this passage beyond points of resignation that we're going to spend some time with today. So if we consider passing beyond something, we might envision ourselves taking some kind of journey, right? Some kind of pilgrimage. One that takes us away from where we've been to places that are often new, places we're seeing for the very first time. And I was reading an article that spoke to taking this kind of journey alone, with no one else along with us. The article was on a website called upliftconnect.com, and the author titled it, Travel Well and Journey Home. It told the story of its author, her name is Ashley Wilson, and a 2-month solo trip that she made outside of the United States, and the nerves and the anxiety that she was feeling when thinking about embarking upon such a trip. And on her initial flight, she sat next to a young woman who was on her way home from having spent 2 years abroad herself alone over the past year. And the anxiety she was feeling was that about now going home. The woman told Ashley that she was no longer the person she was from a year ago. And Ashley began to wonder if she too would be different when the time came for her to return to her home. Now, research that's been done about traveling alone has shown that this anxiety that's being expressed in the article can be expected. And some of the reasons why that is first, traveling alone to new places, and especially foreign locations, can bring up feelings of vulnerability for us, which can be a very uncomfortable feeling. When we are in unfamiliar places, one of the things that is almost expected of us, if we're going to enjoy our time there, is that we come out of our shells a little bit more, that we stretch beyond whatever edge there is to our current comfort zones. And again, those are things that are not always easy for everyone to do. And studies have also shown that journeys such as these can alter our minds, our perspectives, our invisible prejudices, our hearts, and our ability to empathize and connect to what we once perceived as, quote unquote, other. So yes, creating this literal distance from what we might call our usual existence, our ordinary lives, it can be a bit unsettling. But the very same research has shown that there are also benefits to be had to traveling alone. And one is that when we look back at our normal, usual, ordinary lives from afar, we can see how much we already have. And what happens is we experience this upswell of gratitude for our lives. And something else which I found to be a very powerful statement is that it gives us the opportunity to redefine and establish what home means to our sense of belonging and our identity. To redefine, to establish our home in terms of it reflecting our true sense of belonging, reflecting our true identity, or as Mr. Schweitzer offered, becoming ourselves and being spiritually alive. As I reflected on these ideas, I found myself noticing such a correlation between them and so much of the experiences I had during the periods of lockdown during COVID-19. I mean, it's just been a little over 3 years ago now when all of us, for the most part, were relatively confined to our homes. We were told not to travel to far away and exciting new places like many of us may have been planning to do with the onset of the summer and vacation season coming up. And yet, as I sat in my home, the structure that provided me shelter, I found myself being invited over and over and over again to places that were new places for me. And these invitations that were coming were only for me, no one else to come with me. And many of those invitations created a lot of discomfort in me. And as I was continuing to serve my church congregation in Traverse City, Michigan at that time, many of them started to reach out to tell me that they too were starting to experience discomfort in their lives. You see, so many of us had so much time to spend with ourselves, so much time to spend with our thoughts, our feelings, reevaluating our priorities, our values, our dreams, our lives in general. And all of that time allowed all of those feelings of vulnerability and anxiety and stress and uncertainty and fear to arise, to be addressed. I came to understand for myself, and I heard from many others, that these feelings often arose because as we began to think about setting out on these solo kinds of journeys to places that were new to us, we began to become aware of the very real possibility that we would come face to face with things that would ask us to alter our minds, our perspectives, our invisible prejudices, our hearts, and our ability to empathize and connect to what we once perceived as other. Perhaps we would find ourselves having to go deeper within ourselves to redefine who we each were, to identify who we truly wanted to be and be seen by others. I don't know if that's bringing up any kind of similar memories for you as far as your experiences throughout COVID-19 and the lockdowns. And Lord knows that even though COVID-19 is no longer the pandemic that it once was, there is still plenty going on all around us today that I believe are offering us invitations to take the very same kind of journey, the very same kind of pilgrimage that will likely bring forth the next layers of vulnerability and anxiety, that if we embrace them, can help us unveil who we are and who we want to be today. And I would suggest that the best way to venture forth on these journeys is to go home first, not to the structure, but to the home within us, the place where our spirituality is always alive, the place where we can be reminded time and time again of who we truly are. It's the very same place where we can also uncover and bring forth and use the strength, the courage, the humility, the resolve, whatever it may be that we need to step into the discomfort and expose the vulnerability, to feel the anxiety and move beyond any points of resignation that may be trying to hold us back from taking the journeys that we know deep down are now ours to take. when we go home in this way, we'll find a few lessons of support from what I noted as always being spiritually alive. And the first of these gifts is the ability to move past any close-up thinking we may be doing. Sometimes when we look too closely at something, our vision becomes very narrow and we become narrow-minded. The things that we can see up close tend to be obstructions to our imagination, to our creativity. We lose out on the ability to see the obstacles and their potential more clearly and more objectively. Clarity and objectivity are two things that can help us form new thoughts and new ideas and new ways to see others, new ways to see our world, ways that will serve to unite us and not separate us. I'm currently offering a class here on dismantling racism, and we're using a book and a video series titled Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, written and hosted by Emmanuel Acho. And there's an example of objective seeing in one of the videos that the class will see in a few more weeks, but I wanted to share some of its content with you here, with everybody today. And in this particular conversation, Mr. Acho is talking with a panel that's made up of white male police officers from Petaluma, California. And the rest of the Petaluma police force is seated in the audience. And the entire conversation centers on the relationships and interactions and perceptions that exist relative to white police officers and people of color, and specifically black men. And in the course of a very frank and very civil conversation as to the significant problems that exist in this arena, the depth to which they exist, and the awful consequences we have been witness to, one of the officers offered a personal experience. He brought up the former football player Colin Kaepernick. And you may recall Mr. Kaepernick lost his football career back in 2016 when he began to kneel during the playing of the national anthem before the football games. And the officer owned it for himself. He admitted that when he saw that happen, he was ticked off, and he used a different word. And he felt that Mr. Kaepernick's actions were a direct shot at him. He felt that it was a direct shot and disrespectful shot at everyone in law enforcement. He then went on to say that he no longer views it as such, that his perspective had changed after he saw a movie that had just been released, and the time we're talking about is November of 2020. And the movie was called The Trial of the Chicago Seven. The Chicago Seven were leaders of a movement against the war in Vietnam. And they organized a protest in August of 1968 that drew thousands upon thousands of people to Chicago, where the Democratic National Convention was being held. And a spotlight was shown on many things in that film, including police brutality and racial injustice. After watching this film, the officer's perspective changed. After being open to having a broader view of these issues presented, he now says that Mr. Kaepernick was not accusing him of anything, that Mr. Kaepernick had not been disrespectful to all in uniform. This officer now says that the shot Mr. Kaepernick had taken was at a system, one in need of reform. Now, some might ask, why did it take 4 years for this officer to be willing to step back, open to seeing things differently? And that's a valid question, but you know what? Sometimes it just takes as long as it takes. And so we can choose to celebrate that there's one more person, there's one more police officer who has hopefully continued to carry his newfound awareness into all of the interactions he has since and will continue to have with the Black community, whether it's in his service as an officer of the law or just in his personal life. Appreciation is another gift that we receive when we go home within. I think sometimes we can confuse the idea of appreciation with agreement or having to accept something for ourselves as our own. But that's not what it is. We can appreciate something or someone without agreeing with them, without wanting any of the same something for ourselves. Earlier I mentioned my former church in Traverse City, Michigan. And in 2018, the local newspaper that did a lovely spread on the church as we were celebrating our 35th anniversary. And when we woke up in the morning to the paper and the article, the headline they decided to use was just "small but mighty" is what they called us. And I could use the very same descriptor for Traverse City itself when it comes to how sometimes it is the smallest of things that can nurture and deepen our appreciation of others. And I say small because I've lived in 4 different states and relative cities, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Kansas City, Kansas, they're about the same size, 1.7, 1.8 million people in each of those towns. I just got back a couple weeks ago from another one of my homes in Houston, Texas. They're at 6.7 million people now in their city. Well, Traverse City, Michigan has 15,675. And I'm telling you, they all taught me a lot about appreciation, because that town was the most different from any of the other 3 that I have lived. They were the other to me in many ways, and I did not know when I arrived how rich one place, one area of tradition and culture and way of being could be. The longer I lived there, and I was there 8.5 years, but the longer I lived there, the deeper my knowledge and my appreciation of a small town culture grew. I was exposed constantly to the pride and the ownership that exists there in the concepts of buying local and eating farm to table. I gained appreciation for the ways that the natural settings that surround you there, which are absolutely gorgeous, how they call to the hearts of so many. Appreciation for the multitude of outdoor activities that you can take part in all year round. Now, at the same time, I'm not ashamed to stand here right now and tell you that my idea of camping involves packing a suitcase, going to a hotel with running water, and calling room service. Just saying. And on a bit more serious note, due to some physical restrictions I have, I wasn't able to participate in most of the various outdoor activities available there, which I witnessed. They are spiritual practices to many people. But that never meant that I couldn't appreciate how much enjoyment all of those things brought to members of my church community, to the residents of Traverse City, and to the literally thousands upon thousands of people who make the journey to that city every single year, tourists and vacationers. See, appreciation comes when we become aware of the differences that exist and see that they don't threaten us in any way. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to say that is wrong. See, appreciation nurtures respect of people and cultures and customs, and respect nurtures our own behavior when we are in their midst, as well as when we speak about them when we're outside their midst. One last gift when we go to our spiritual home before embarking upon journeys beyond our points of resignation comes when we realize that moving through the challenging times, the uncomfortable feelings, it can make a lasting and very important impact on us. In the article I referenced earlier, Ms. Wilson reflected on this a bit as she shared some of what she discovered as she began her journey home. She noted that she did indeed feel like a different person than she was before, as her initial flight companion had shared. She went on to say that she knew that at her core, at her true essence, she was the same as she had always been. And I wholeheartedly support that statement. What was different, what had changed, was, in her words, her ability to shine through, to shine that essence forth as to who she truly was, and to do so without the confinements, those points of resignation that she had felt when her journey first began. She said that along the way, she had dropped a lot of baggage, that her mind had expanded, her vision now saw a road that was vast and not narrow, and it seemed unlimited in nature. And she was no longer scared. She said she was excited now, and she was excited about continuing to explore herself, and in turn, explore what she considers to be this incredible world that we all share with one another. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was reading a daily email that I received from Richard Rohr and the Center for Action and Contemplation. And the reading for that day had absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about today. But there was one sentence in that whole reading that seemed to sum up everything that we're talking about here today. And that sentence said, "We can never get there. We can only be there." Those words sum up everything from today when we equate the word there with home in the context I've been using it today. A context that tells us that home is not a structure. It is not a place to get to or a place from which we came. A context that tells us that home is how we choose to be in our lives. 3 years ago, many days I didn't know how or what to be. My work was becoming more and more challenging and difficult and strenuous and filled with anxiety due to COVID-19. And I found my personal life, it felt like there was this ping pong game going on inside of me, with the ball just going back and forth between my spiritual aliveness and my points of resignation. And that game was getting so tiring, I didn't care who won, I just wanted it to end. And it did soon thereafter, as I sat in my living room watching the funeral for George Floyd. During Reverend Al Sharpton's eulogy, he invited everyone to stand as they were able and reflect in silence for the same amount of time that Mr. Floyd had laid on the ground with the police officer's knee on his neck. And Reverend Sharpton phrased his invitation this way. He said, "As you go through these long 8 minutes, think of what George was going through, laying there, begging for his life, narrating his own death." I got up in my living room and I stood and I shed tears for most of those 8+ minutes. And those tears brought clarity to me about 2 things. First, I became acutely aware that I was feeling extremely uncomfortable with having felt extremely comfortable for most of my life. And if I allowed that to be the way I continued, then I would perpetuate a way of being that goes against everything that I believe my truest essence to represent. And secondly, I became acutely aware that I was still here, acutely aware that I was still able to breathe, and acutely aware that I still had the sacred opportunity to narrate my life. So over these past 3 years, there's been a lot of letting go of burdens and releasing a lot of things that was long overdue. There's been a lot of decluttering in my home, making space for some of the ways I had been so that they could come forth and bring with them their associated discomfort for me to reckon with. And gratefully, there's been some redecorating done in that home. And for me, that looks like engaging in social justice with the Good Faith Network, taking a course in anti-racism and bringing a version of that back here to you, and simply just being more open to the learning more about people and groups who continue to be marginalized or oppressed in some way. As I said early on, there are so many challenges before us today that I believe are calling out to be changed, to be healed, to be released. And I encourage you, please, please, please give time each day to prayerfully ask which one is calling out directly to you, which one needs you to journey beyond any points of resignation in your life so that you can be the presence of Spirit alive and active as you. The journey to change is long and it is usually hard. But just remember, the first step forward is always the same step. Go home first to who you are truly and who you really want to be truly. And then venture forth, knowing that even the smallest of steps taken can bring about a mighty, mighty change. God bless you.
Thank you, Eileen. Let's all take a breath. As we settle in.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in your faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let Spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free. As I continue walking in this mystery.
So we allow that music and its words to take us into a place of relaxing into our seats, becoming still and opening our hearts as we enter into a holy and sacred time of meditation and prayer. And so today we begin by affirming, perhaps more than ever before, that there is divine potential within each of us, a potential to make a difference in this world, if only we dare. A difference that can impact us and the lives of others in powerful and positive ways. It need not be done in grand gestures or garner widespread recognition. It might be something we never knew we could do, something that we know now we must do. whether a simple act or one that stretches us far beyond our comfort zones. Each one we undertake and we offer in love. These actions, small or large, easy or challenging, they're steps we take with courage, steps we take grounded in our faith. They change us, and then they go forth to change our world. With Spirit as our partner, centered and guided by the Christ within us, we are assured of finding well springs of strength, desire and passion, fortitude, resolve and resiliency, and so much more. And so as we take time to move into the silence, we take this time to listen, just listen, for one small way that we can each be an agent of loving change in this world of humanity whose hearts may be hurting. And so we listen in the silence. All that we offer to another in love can have an impact far beyond that which we may ever know. And so again, as we trust in Spirit as our partner, each and every one somehow, in some way, makes a positive difference in someone's life. Whether it's ours, someone we know or may never meet, or whether it's our country, or whether it's our world, we go forward in love. And for this, and so much more, we are grateful. And so it is. Amen.
There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way, but I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest goal. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. will surrender every moment, every day.
Now is the time that we bless all of our time, talents, and treasure as we affirm. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
Here we're living in a place, feeling alive. All of us dreamers are growing divine. Come from alone, now we're making it high, high, high. Here we're together, moving on and off the floor, opening doors and we're hungry for more. Up from the ground, now we're ready to soar. I'm not alone, you are with me. You're not alone, I am with you. We can be home for each other, home for each other. Good thing we can be home for each other, be home for each other, home for each other. Good thing we can be home. We can be home for each other, home for each other. Good thing we can be home for each other, be home for each other, home for each other, home. We are home. I didn't know I didn't have to go it alone. You and me now, we're a tribe of our own. Stay with your team and you'll always find home, home, home. I didn't know I had to pick up myself, putting my trust in somebody else. Count me too if you ever need help, help, help. I'm not alone, you are with me. You're not alone, I am with you. We can be home for each other, home for each other. Good thing we can be home for each other, be home for each other, home for each other. Good thing we can be home. We can be home for each other, home for each other. Good thing we can be home for each other, be home for each other, home for each other, home. From this day on, 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 this day on, this day on, this day on, from this day on. We can be home for each other, home for each other. We can be home for each other, home. 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 From this day on, keep your heart with us. You'll be safe and sound. Home for each other, home for each other, home. Keep your heart. You'll be safe and sound. We can be home for each other, home for each other. Good thing we can be home for each other, be home for each other, home for each other. Good thing we can be home. We can be home for each other, home for each other. Good thing we can be home for each other, be home for each other, home for each other, home. From this day on.
Really?
Well, thank you again, Millie Edwards, Reverend Fred Albers, and the band, and some backup singers now, too. That's pretty cool. I like the guys singing backup there. Oh, goodness. This month, we are celebrating our volunteer team, which is our platform assistants. This group of people is just an integral part of our whole Sunday experience. They come up here, they just share everything to keep us all up to date as the activities, events, programs. past, present, coming to us. They're just great in keeping us all informed. So if you are one of the platform assistant team members, would you please stand so that we can all acknowledge you and thank you. And so would you join with me now as we speak together our mission statement here at Unity Church of Overland Park. Together, Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. Please join us next week. Reverend Jackie will be back. She will be concluding our current series on pilgrimage. Her lesson is Pilgrimage, the Journey to Unity. And while I mentioned earlier that Josie, Jackie's daughter, our YFM teacher, they're all out in California, we have Meredith and Jesse Greenfield who have stepped in for Josie to be with our kids. So let's welcome all of them in right now.
Hello. Happy Mother's Day. We have Brayden, Rose, Emily, and Cameron here, and we had some fun. I don't know if y'all heard a big loud pop. Sorry about that. We were playing with balloons, and one got a little too big. But so, we made a whole bunch of things with mothers in mind and talked about what we were grateful for. And a few of these lovely children would like to say something they're grateful for about their mothers.
I made a hat for my mom. And I'm grateful. Why aren't you wearing the hat? I'm grateful because she's so nice and because she just lets me sit in my room all day and not have to do anything.
I made my mom a fortune teller. It has everything that I love about her, and I'm grateful for her because she's always there for us.
Wonderful job.
So, for my mom, I made her 2 cards, and also I made her something very glittery and special, and it's not what she might think it is. So, Cameron, do you want to talk?
Well,
It's not about the gratefulness, but there are 2 balloons. One might have a glittery surprise.
I forgot to add something. What I like about my mom is she's super duper nice, and she does a lot of things for us. And she even planned a Disney World trip for 4 days in October. It's amazing. Now, I haven't been in a long time.
Thank you. Wonderful job. And now stand if you are able and join us for our closing song. Yeah.
I don't care what's on TV about the state of the economy. I don't believe most of what I see. I know what I know to be. God is so good all the time. God is so good all the time. God is so
join with me now in speaking aloud our prayer for protection? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Have a fabulous week, everybody.